Hi, my name is Erica Van Eaton. I'm your host of this masterclass, and we are going to talk all about parallel realities, how to utilize them to heal subconscious wounding, how to shift into these different parallel realities, timelines, choice points, all the fun things. My journey began with the birth of my oldest son, who was born with Down syndrome and we later realized was on the autism spectrum. It was the first time I heard my soul speak. We didn't know he had Down syndrome until he was born. My husband brought him over to me, and I said his name. And in that moment, he shifted his eyes and he locked eyes with me. And at that point in time, my soul took my humanness, who wasn't awake, aside. And I heard my soul say, "You know him." And then I heard his soul say, "I know you too." Now, at the time, I didn't have an awareness of what a soul was, but I knew that is what was speaking and what I was hearing from him. And it wasn't just what I was hearing, it was what I was feeling throughout my entire body when I was hearing that. I didn't have any emotions at play yet because my soul had taken the consciousness of my mind, of my ego, of my programming, and gently held it to the side. So I felt the ripple effect of just divine love rolling through my body, and I felt my heart expanding when I heard these things. And that held for a couple of minutes. And then after that time period was done, my humanness slipped back inside. And that's when I looked at him and I realized that he had Down syndrome. So our journey kind of progressed from there, and he started coming to me in my dream state. I would have these crazy vivid dreams of him being able to do something that we were working on in physical therapy or occupational therapy. Those with Down syndrome often have low muscle tone, so it is difficult for them to transition, connect with the body, and learn how to transition from laying to sitting, sitting to crawling, and that motor function that goes along with it. So we would be working on it in the daytime over and over and over again, trying to help him connect in, to connect the steps, to build the muscle strength to be able to do these things. And so it would be throughout these periods of time that he would come into my dream state and he would show himself doing the thing that we were working on in therapy and at home. He would show himself doing something like laying to sitting with ease perfectly. And the dreams would be so vivid and full of color and full of vibrant emotion. I would feel so much gratitude and joy. And he would have the biggest smile on his face. And I could feel the smile on my face. And I could feel the joy and the pride that he had in himself at being able to do this thing that he wanted to do in the physical world. He was just having a difficult time connecting into. So I would wake up from that dream the next morning, and sometimes it wouldn't just be me having the dream. My husband, my dad, a brother of mine, we would all have these dreams on the same night. And then I would get calls or talk to them, and they'd be like, "Hey, I had this crazy dream about your son." And I'd say, "I had it too." So he was building a memory in the quantum field. And it was at that point I realized he was teaching me how to play in the quantum field for him. He was teaching me how to tune into and hold the vibration of an experience for him that was already there in the quantum field. He just wasn't able to connect into it because of the vibrational mismatch between what he was experiencing in physical reality versus what was needed to experience to connect into him being able to do this thing. So throughout the week after that dream, or weeks, I that memory would come back to me during the day, and I would feel the same emotions and the same visuals, the same colors, the same excitement would go through my head of him being able to do this thing that I had seen in my dream. And I would feel that throughout the week. I would remember that dream throughout the week or weeks. And it would be shortly after these dreams, usually around 2, 3 week mark of remembering it over and over again, that he would just be able to do the thing perfectly in real life. He was teaching me how to hold a vibration for him, how to become the vibration for him. And then I radiated that out. He connected into that vibration and then was able to do the thing that we were working on. He was teaching me how to build images in the quantum field. He was teaching me how to become a frequency match for experiences and how to shift us to a different reality where he could do these things. And it was beautiful. And I had no idea what I was doing at the time. They were just magically happening. We also had a telepathic communication that I didn't have words for, but I knew exactly how he needed me to talk to him. I knew how I needed to process emotion when he wasn't in the room and ground. I I knew what he needed because his soul was guiding me. And because I was a first-time mom, I didn't know any better. I didn't know any different, and it worked out really well for us. That's the background on how I spiritually woke up and how I started to play in the quantum field, how I started to play in parallel realities. And now I'm going to share a little bit more with you about how you can do that too. So, as we move through life, we have these experiences that can be viewed as difficult. Some are fun, some are really difficult though, and they elicit really strong emotions. So, let's say you're moving along life and then you roll into an abusive relationship and you begin to feel doubt and shame and guilt and fear, and you're wrapped in that and you feel victim to this abuse. If you allow that experience to continue and to begin to define your character, define who you are by having continual negative thoughts about yourself, by having continual negative emotions that roll through you over and over again, that keeps you in one reality in which that kind of program, even if you get out of that relationship, that program, if you continue having the same thoughts, having the same emotions, due to harmonic resonance, meaning like attracts like simply, you're going to continue to pull that pattern into your life. Now, the free will that a human has really comes after an experience. You have free will to make choices, but there are some predetermined experiences that your soul agreed to have before you came down and as an expression in this physicality as you're human, whether you're Sally or Bob or whatever. You had decided things beforehand to have these different kinds of experiences. So the free will part comes after the experience. So let's say you're in an abusive relationship, you realize it, you start to process the emotion. And then on the other side of those emotions is the free will of, okay, do I stay a victim to? Do I stay angry? Do I stay full of unworthiness or shame? Or am I going to choose to see this as just an experience that my soul wanted to have? And I'm going to smile and I'm going to breathe, realize I've learned what I need to learn, and I'm going to start to make different choices about what I'm thinking, about what I'm feeling. And that choice point either keeps you in lane A, in reality A, or you get to shift into reality B, where there's a completely different life, a timeline going on. So if, let's say you make the choice to change. Let's say you make the choice to start having better feeling thoughts about yourself and you start doing the work, doing deep breath work to start to flush the chemicals from the emotions when they arise. Taking a breath can really begin to slow things down. So the original emotion only lasts about 90 seconds. Everything after that, when the feelings kick in, feelings are when you have an emotion mixed with thought. Those are feelings. They're not the original emotion. So let's say you start to recognize you're having an emotion, and with every emotion, with every feeling, with every thought that you have, there's thousands of chemicals released to the brain and to the body. So if you notice that you're having a repetitive emotion and you take the chance to breathe deeply into your belly, relaxing the shoulders down, keeping the chin up, that's a physiological response that is saying, I am safe. I am safe to feel what I'm feeling. And if I am allowing myself to feel an emotion in a really calm manner, then I am not making myself wrong for feeling what I'm feeling. I am beginning to elicit feelings of self trust because of the chemicals that I'm releasing to my body. So maybe I am feeling shame, but at the same time, I'm really calm. I'm calmly breathing through it. I'm releasing a whole other set of chemicals on top of the original shame of neutrality. That will alchemize the shame. And I have just moved through an experience differently. And then maybe after I move through it, I can begin to smile. And maybe at first, I don't know why I'm smiling, but I'm just trying it out because I know if I'm smiling, that's going to release a completely different set of chemicals to the brain and to the body. So I'm going to smile and I'm going to choose to trust the process. I'm going to choose to trust myself. That is a choice point. That is free will. That's your free will. How do you move through it? If you choose to breathe and you choose to calm yourself down, it puts you back into a place of empowerment. That's going to set you on a different timeline, in a different reality, where things begin to flow just a little bit easier because you're a different vibration. In that choice point, you have switched yourself from, I'm just throwing out numbers, these don't mean anything. Let's say you're vibrating at 352, you breathe, you calm yourself, and because of the chemicals that you're releasing are different, you just shifted your whole vibrational frequency to 761, and that shifts you into lane B. That's a vibrational match to 761. And then you start living out your life from that place. And it just becomes a little bit easier. And the repetitive patterns ease. They're different. And you continue to do that. That continues to propel you down different timelines. So that is the simplistic way that you can start looking at parallel realities. Parallel realities and timelines are essentially the same thing. They're what come after choice points. They're a vibrational experience. We often think of them as past, present, future. So parallel realities and timelines are essentially the same thing. And we can tune into past, present, future lifetimes, timelines, and utilize that for healing. When we dive into past life healing, what we are doing is diving into the reality in which that past life is existing simultaneously with your life right now. We're just opening up that packet of information because that's what it is. It's a packet of information with some of your consciousness in it. We're opening this ball up, allowing it to be exposed to something different. And we're shifting the timeline of that past life onto a different plane of reality, a different parallel reality in which the experience was much better. And then that packet of consciousness evolves differently, and that ripples through all your lives that you have going. And that's how you heal a core wounding if you're dealing with past life, or you can do the same thing with an inner child wounding. You open up that packet of information that is that age that got trapped on that timeline in this certain experience. So we open up that packet of information and we expose it to different choice points. So let's say that you're a child and you downloaded a belief from a parent of lack. And you felt that information radiating from your parent over and over, and it came into your system, it came into your heart space, it hit your cardiac nerve plexus. That began to send signals to the brain of lack and limitation, and you took that on to be true for you when it was never true for you. But sometimes when we're children, we don't know. We just know what we feel, and we can't distinguish what is ours and what isn't ours. So if we go back to that consciousness, that is your inner child, and we open it and allow it to be exposed, and we tell that aspect of your consciousness there was a choice point. That information that you took on to be true for you was never a vibrational match to the truth of who you are. It was never yours to begin with. You had a choice to breathe through it, to move through it, and to choose something different. So then we can take that packet of information and we can heal it and begin to shift it and move it into a parallel reality of abundance, of opportunity, of being seen, whatever the distortion was at the time, we can shift that. And then that reshapes your current reality because you've shifted your vibration, and it reshapes your DNA. It reshapes subconscious programming. So we can play with it in a myriad of ways. And I emphasize the word play because that's what we're really doing here. We're learning how to access more of our soul in the physicality. We're learning to access more of our gifts. We're learning to access more of our wisdom so that we can share that with the rest of humanity, because that's ultimately what we came here to do. We're all aspects of Source, and the wisdom that you hold is a little bit different than mine, and that's perfect. We are here to celebrate our differences because in that celebration of differences, we actually experience unification, because you hold wisdom that I don't hold. So when I hear your wisdom and then you hear my wisdom, there's an explosion of energy and we get to expand even more. But I don't want to hear the wisdom that's coming. I guess I can't even call it wisdom. The words that are coming through the programming, I want to hear and connect into the words of your soul light, which is your source energy, your connection to Source. That is what I want to hear. That's what I want to experience. That's what I help people uncover. That's what you're here to uncover and come home to as you begin to unravel all the false identities that you have taken on in the past as being true for you. So play, play, play so that you can begin to share the light and the truth of who you are. If you are needing a little extra support, you can check out my website, ericavaneatonhealing.com. I have a podcast, Diving In Consciously, and it's on YouTube as well. But you're here to play. You're here to play bigger and bigger and bigger. So breathe deeply. Allow yourself to feel the emotions, to feel the feelings. Remember that you have free will on the other side of those feelings, because feelings are completely natural. You're going to feel all things. We're chemically wired to do so, and it's not bad to feel the feelings. We have choice with how we want to utilize the energy from whatever we're feeling, to either contract and stay in lane A or expand and play in lane B. C, D, E, F, G. Who knows? So thank you. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for shining your light in the world. It is an honor for me to share space, time, and energy with you. So much love.